Scx24 B-17 Betty. Comparison. Take two.
Click. Hi everyone. So we have now a Betty. I was able to get it yesterday. I have just been, doing a little Russian research on it, so to speak, and just like checking against my other vehicles. And what I noticed off the bat is that the other two Scx24s that I have, this one's actually a deadbolt with a C10 body and C10 tires, and this is the Jeep. Both of these with the 3 Jenga blocks had to be modified to get this back tire off of the ground. So normally the back tire was up like this, and you can see there's still some play in there, right? But I had to change the shocks and move them forward to get this travel out of this axle, and I also widened the track bars on the bottom there, if you can see with those two little white inserts on both the Jeep and the truck, in order to get 3 Jenga block flex. And you can see my Jeep's tire it's firmly on. All 4 tires are firmly down, and the truck, all 4 tires are firmly down. This tire back here is just a little bit off the ground still. You can see it's got a little travel. And then we get to the B-17. I have done nothing to this. I'm going to keep this truck completely stock for as long as I own it. Other than maybe have to put a new motor in it or something like that, I'm going to leave it completely stock. And you can see that the B-17 on 3 Jenga blocks, the back tire just moves just barely, but it already comes with enough flex. Normally the back tire would be off of the ground, quite a ways stock, but the stock B-17, the back tire literally just barely touches already, with doing nothing to it, just stock. So that's one of the secrets of why the Betty, like I bought a friend of mine got a Betty when I ordered mine, and he, like, we played a little bit with his Betty and my Jeep, and his Betty crawled almost as well as my Jeep did with the modifications and the weight I've put in it, stock. And I was amazed by it, but we only were hung out for a few minutes and he had to go, and I couldn't take his Betty and say, hey, let me take your truck into my lab for a while and study it. But that's one of the things I noticed, how well it crawled right out of the box. I mean, just it did so much better than my Jeep right out of the box. My Jeep was okay, but it wasn't to this level right out of the box. And here's one of the reasons why. And what I found is the tires are just slightly wider than the Jeep tires. Here's a Jeep tire. I'm gonna bring this down off of its perch over here, and I'll show you that the Betty tires are just slightly wider than the Jeep tires. So that helps it really grab over on the edge, and these outer nubs, they are quite tall. That does help with the flex as well. Obviously the Betty tires are just a smidge softer. Just a smidge softer. The other thing that the Betty has going for it is its body is down low. So this one's not really a fair comparison, but the Jeep does not have a body lift on it. It's, and I've modified this Jeep, but I have done nothing. The front suspension remains the same. It's straight up and down. And I have not done a body lift on anything. If anything, I've tried to pull the body down closer to the chassis And you can see, I'm sorry for my fingers there, you can see by comparison that the Betty sits much lower. The body does, it sits much lower onto the chassis. So here's a deadbolt, for example, a deadbolt, and look how the deadbolt just completely almost fits right over top of the Betty. So secret number 2 of the Betty is that the body's much lower on the chassis, so the center of gravity is brought down even lower on this. So along with the wider tires, it's got a little bit lower center of gravity because the body fits so compact down on top of this, and it literally spreads the weight out to each wheel equally. And that's kind of what you want. You want each wheel to have equal weight. I know some guys like the 60-40 split. Yeah, but the wheel, yes, the 60, you need 60-40 split, but each wheel has to have its own balance and weight. And you can see by the factory, they've almost got this done. So I was extremely impressed by how this crawled. It crawled almost as well as my other 2 trucks that have been heavily modified. So very good. Good job, Axial, on the Betty. Loving it. Thanks for watching, guys.